Stopwatch. Stopwatch. What is your situation?
Just checked out this strange place. What the hell are these?
Stopwatch. Stopwatch. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Stopwatch. Stopwatch.
Welcome to your doom. Shut it and get over here. Massive uppercut!
Hello and welcome to another edition of the JabJab Show. Today I'm reviewing a movie. Yes, that movie is Alien Covenant and it's directed by Ridley Scott. It stars Michael Fassbender, Katie Featherstone, Danny McBride and Billy Crudup. The story is basically there's a group of people aboard the starship the Covenant. They're on the way to this distant planet in order to colonise it and so forth. They're about 7 years or so away from this planet. There's an emergency. There's disaster strikes on the spaceship. It causes them to make snap decisions and so on. This coincides with their like communication they've got from a distant but closer planet, much closer. And they decide, okay, let's check this planet out. Much closer, so they go and investigate. And alien antics ensue. Now I'm a big fan of the Alien series, specifically the first two films. Probably give them both 10 Joneses out of 10 in terms of the classic awesomeness that's on display. I probably choose Alien over Aliens, personally, but I can see why people might choose go the other way around, because lots of awesome stuff in both of them, and it's one or the other. It's one of them classic debates, film debates. Which one? There's elements for the third and fourth ones I like. Prometheus, it kind of divided a lot of people. I mean, I quite liked it, to be honest. I knew going into watching that film, they were planning further films as well. Along the timeline before we get to the events of Alien. So I knew whatever did in this film, it was kind of not gonna answer everything, and I can't speak for everyone whether other people knew this going into it and thought it don't really answer stuff. It doesn't, but it left me intrigued, to be honest. So then I watched the trailer from Alien Covenant. What immediately struck me with that is the xenomorphs here. It seems more alien than Prometheus 2. It seemed like I said, going into watching Prometheus, I read that there's gonna be 2 more films after Prometheus before we get to the events of Alien. And it just seemed to be what was presented in the trailer from Alien Covenant, that it's they're going full alien mode here. They're not going to answer. There's nothing about Prometheus that they're going to show for whatever reason. Whether or not the xenomorphs here, it's in the trailer, and whether or not it's a response to another criticism of Prometheus. There wasn't enough alien action. There's not enough xenomorph leathering people and all that kind of thing. So maybe they're kind of addressing the balance. Listen to the critics maybe. What also struck me though was how it seemed to bullet point the various plot points of Alien, the original Alien. You got a crew of people. They're on a ship. They get a strange communication. They go and investigate, as in go to a planet, and then poo hits the fan. Michael Fassbender plays Walter, who's an android similar to David in Prometheus. Another holdover from Prometheus is the running theme of creationism and creators and so forth. The main story is set 10 years after the events of Prometheus, but there's a little bit at the start of the film where there's a regular age Guy Pearce who again plays Peter Weyland. So he's talking to David about things I'm not going to discuss, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. The story then shifts to the Covenant, to the spacecraft, and we get to know the characters on there, and it's a very different dynamic to what we've seen in an early film before. They're not like some bunch of space truckers or marine types or even monk types. They're kind of literally like married couples, and just marry these couples on the way to some far off planet in order to colonise it. Then, like I say, something happens on the ship, and they've got to all then get their excrement together and bandy round, and a new captain is forged, and all the things happening, and they get a communication again. And when they get to the new planet, all is not what it seems, as you expect. And there's a line of dialogue which reminds me of a line of dialogue in the film Arachnophobia. Something along the lines of where's all the birds? Where's this? Where's that? There's no other sign of life in the air or on the ground or anything. And a bit later on, while they're still yomping through the fields, looking for stuff, looking for the signal, one of the characters say, "Oh, I need a wee. I'm going over here." And if you know your horror films, you think, "Oh, okay, that might be an indication that something bad's about to happen." You know, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I like how certain things like transpire and the way the organism gets into the human body. I like the effect. It's all cool and stuff, and you know, things get bloody quick. And then the alien, but not one of them cheeky xenomorphs that we know from the other films that we know and love, makes his way out of the host body in a suitably bloody and brutal manner. And it's really not one of them bits of nature documentaries where you see a baby giraffe being born and you know you see it like gingerly getting into its feet and it's sort of tottering away and it's really struggling, and it's very cute to watch and you all go, isn't that cute? No, you get none of that, because the xenomorph, the neomorph, is very brutal and it's designed to get people, and he's jumping about, zipping about, trying to get people. It's really good, I find. You know, the pacing, like I say, is up from here on in. And you know, basically the excrement has hit the fan, and you know, naturally the communication between this ship and the Covenant, which is in the sky, so to speak, you know, it's not very good. But I don't want to spoil anything for you. But what I will say, like, you know, a bit later on, they do encounter the character David from Prometheus, so you get 2 Michael Fassbenders for the price of 1. What I would say, he does explain a little bit what's happened with the characters since the events of Prometheus in the intervening 2 years, and also like the crew hold themselves up in the strange monastery place for a little while. I did find all this interesting, you know, including there's also an odd scene with one character, like, you know, teaching another character how to play the recorder. It gets a bit. I did think when this is playing out, I did get a bit kind of carry on, you know, them type of films where there's a lot of like innuendo in there. I mean, I don't think it's intended, but I did feel like, you know, if this was Sid James and Barbara Windsor, you know, then we'd have kind of an interesting time. But I did find this interesting, and I do feel it does answer some of the questions Prometheus posed, but also raises more. You know, like I said, like I'm fully aware going into the film there's going to be another film or 2 after this one, perhaps. But I don't want to be kind of in a few years' time thinking, you've made 15 films now, can we just like kind of like sort something out, let's explain something or other, and the writers to say, it was all a dream, that'll do. Once again, I feel Michael Fassbender is really good in this. You know, it's one of the best things of the film, like I felt he was in Prometheus. But also Katie Featherstone, Billy Crudup, Danny McBride, their characters also have a lot of screen time and a lot of things, emotional things going on, and they're really good in this film. Though that being said, there's a lot of characters who part of the crew you don't really get time with, don't really have, you know, much time for character development and all the rest of it, like I felt maybe Rogue One did suffer from. You know, some of the characters didn't feel, because they've only got a short amount of time, you know, screen time, and you don't get to know them basically. But all in all, they had fun with this film. You know, like I say, it had a very similar setup in a broad sense to Alien. I do probably feel that it lends itself more to the pacing of Aliens. It does have elements of Alien 3 in there as well, and obviously the storyline, the kind of like the theme of creationism and creation, who's a creator and all the rest of it from Prometheus, as you know you expect. Also has a nice little nod to the artwork of H.G. Giger, or H.G. Geiger, however you say his name. But there's a thing with 2 characters towards the end where I kind of saw it coming, and because I felt it was kind of telegraphed a bit too much. I saw what was going to happen, but it's all played out nicely nonetheless. So I'm going to give Alien Covenant 7 morphs out of 10. You know, it doesn't answer everything from Prometheus, and this film itself raises a few more questions because of what happens in the film. It's been confirmed that there are going to be more Alien films, and I'm intrigued to what happens next. This is a good, solid film. So what are your views on Alien Covenant? Let me know down below in the comment section down there. What's your favourite Alien film? Just rank them from best to worst and what have you. Just let me know all down below. And what is your what is your favourite alien, good or bad, in movies? Let me know all this kind of thing down in the comment section down there. Or like, subscribe, and hashtag follow, all that kind of thing. New things to communicate. Just let me know everything like that. Like, subscribe, comment, and tell your friends and everything. And in the words of the new Cyrus, send the word.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.